Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, Breaker of the Seven Seals. Brothers and sisters, welcome. We see this world is going to hell in a handbasket. Troubles are increasing daily. You know, if you have water on the stove and you keep firing it, you know eventually it's going to boil. It means it's transition to another form. And we know eventually it's going to blow up. This world is at the boiling point. They're actually talking nuclear war. Threats. Retaliation if Russia pulls the trigger, so forth, so on. But those of you who've been studying, you know how this is going to turn out. If you're studying. But it's all about the Holocaust. The unjust treatment of us. The mistreatment of us. The affliction, oppression. That's what it's all about, brothers and sisters. That's what they're suffering the consequence of, in addition to all the things they did. Beyond that, all other nations. Everyone's closing in on America and Europe. America specifically. Everyone's closing in on. All the enemies are closing in. Pressures. They're feeling the pressure. Depression, suicide, drugs, crime. And this propaganda is becoming, it's always been liars. This propaganda is becoming nearly overwhelming. Trying to talk their way out of it. They can't talk their way out of it, brothers and sisters. So we're going to get into our presentation here. And the presentation is going to be about Noah. Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark. See, this is very complex. It's a presentation I'm very, very reluctant to do because it's very difficult to present. I presented the dimensional arc. I did that many months ago. But to go into the story itself, I've never done that. It's very complicated. Even people that's been studying angel probably will not get it. I'm going to put it out there for someone who wants to study. I put it in the best way I can to try to get some understanding of it. But if you don't understand, if you don't have an angel key, you're not going to get it all. Not going to get it all. And if you do have it, you still may not get it. Like I said, but it's still an atom bomb. And the more complex it is, the more it blows you away. It's just up to me to try to make it as understandable as possible, which this is a very difficult one. Very difficult one. I took a lot of time just trying to see if I can put it together where it can be understood even by the people that are familiar with the angel. Very complicated. Some of these riddles are very complicated, but it just shows that they're not what they claim to be, or that things that happened in the past. Noah's, if you read the story of Noah's Ark and you do the mathematics, the science of mathematics, that's impossible. Because if the waters rose as high as a mountain, covered the mountains, if you could calculate that, how much water that is, it's impossible. Where will that water go? You know that much water on the planet. That'd be more than 100 times more than the water you have altogether on the planet. Where will that water go? 6 miles up, I think Mount Everest is 6 miles up. 6 miles up. Where did that water come from? But anyway, I'm not going into that kind of detail here, brothers and sisters, that kind of discussion. Because those people that need that kind of discussion, they're probably not going to make it anyway. Like I said, I'm putting this out there because I've been taking a slight break. I really need to take more. I'm kind of wearing myself out here. So I took some time to really look into this and see if I could make it simplify it as possible. Because some of the things I can't tell you, brothers and sisters, because it's just too complicated. And you need to know the angel to understand it, that you have any comprehension of what I'm talking about. And even with that, it's still complicated. See, that's how powerful the angel is. But even so, right? Once it's released, whether you understand or not, right? See, whether you understand or not, it's still in the atmosphere. You don't understand that kind of mathematics. You don't understand type mathematics. The atmosphere, you don't understand that, so I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'm just going to go into, hopefully you understand as much as you can, but it's there for you to study. So let's go into it and see what we come up with. Again, this is Noah's dimension. Now, I'm going to say a couple things here first. You know, some people want to sit and argue with you. You know, the thing is, the truth is simple. So that's why I don't argue with anybody. It's simple. Like this 666 thing. Oh, it's this and that. Somebody on Mars and somebody on Venus and somebody Pluton's going to come here and, you know, and some Antichrist come out of the pit. It's simple. What was the weapon of the 666? Sanctions, period. Who's doing all the sanctions all over the planet? Who's doing that? America. They're the 666. They're the beast they're talking about 666. They sanction everybody. That's what said they would do. That was the mark of the beast, sanctions. Ain't no physical mark. The mark of the beast is sanctions. It's right there in front of your face. Oh, well, because the people that might know, they can't accept that. They can't accept that because it's too mind-blowing, because they said that America is the 666. What does that mean about them? It's like an ugly person looking in the mirror. They don't want to see any mirrors. They don't want to see any mirrors. The mirror is their enemy. Why don't want to see that? And the angel is their enemy. And they keep looking at all this stuff. Oh, 666. No, this stuff is simple, brothers and sisters. Or you have to say, who are doing all the sanctions on the planet? And who are they sanctions? And they got three beasts there. See? One is doing all the sanction, and it's sanctioned because the other beast has an image of the other beast. Well, we see what happened. They sanction everybody. If you're against false Israel, you get sanctioned or killed. See? And they're the image of another beast where it has the same government structure as Britain. That's those three beasts, Gog, Magog, and the Antichrist. It's very simple. See? Gog and Magog, it's very simple they are. Because they can't accept that Europeans are the one about making will kill, steal, and destroy. It's exactly that's what you would know them by the words. Kill, steal, and destroy. What other nation done that? Did China go and take anybody's land? Did the Asians go and take anybody's land? Did Africa go and take anybody's land? They go to the planet, take people's land, and steal land, and genocide. Anybody do that but Europeans? Kill, steal, and destroy. Anybody bring another people from a whole other nation over, bring them over there, and destroy them like they did us? Anybody doing that? Yeah, they took slaves in the middle of war, but the people was on their land. But they went and got people over and destroyed them and raped them, murdered them, and everything else. And they would seek to kill, steal, destroy. It's very clear. And then Jesus said right there, he said, no, you're not seed Abraham. He said, your father's the devil. I mean, this stuff is very clear, but they know, but they can't accept it. Don't bring me no mirrors. They can't accept it. It's too mind-blowing. Because they can't accept the devils, they're wicked, and they're hell-bound. Now you're hell-bound, but they're hell now, right? So you don't have to argue anybody. You tell somebody right where they see it. See? If they want to see it. But the mind, if you got a weak mind, you're going to feel, or you're fearful. Even if you're in a heart zone, right? You're letting the fear override your thinking. Oh man, I can't, because if you accept that, your heart's not going to take it. Because what would that mean? Because knowledge breeds responsibility. See? So, knowledge, because once you got knowledge, you have responsibility for what that knowledge is about. What you copy from that knowledge. Your responsibility. Now you know you have responsibility. So therefore they make sure they don't know anything. I don't know anything. Because they think somehow that's going to take absolve them from the consequences of their actions. Don't tell me anything. See? So, hold on, bro. So I got one more thing I have to do here. Then we're going to move into the presentation. Let's have to do very, very quickly. Yep. 1 second. Wide up here. So I can get paranoid. Do I think that somebody knows I'm going to do a presentation? If you want to do a presentation, go knock on the door. So that's the case lately. Anyway. So it'd be okay. So as I was saying, 666. That's the easy one. Demons, that's another easy one. Biology tells you if your father's the devil, you're a devil. You're wherever your father is. Those people over there hang out with Farrakhan. They choose to be ignorant. They choose to be ignorant. Because they know his father's the devil, he's admitted it. They choose to be ignorant. But I'm a demons anyway. So why argue with that? Why argue with that? So things like that. And those are simple things. So why don't I argue about complicated things? Those simple things. I mean, I've been going on about, all the simple truths they say in the scripture. Like Elijah Muhammad said, the truth would be so simple and clear, even a fool will not err. The fools are erring. That's what fools do. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. It's about Noah. Now, I'm going this the best way I can to try to explain it in the simplest way I can, but I'm not sure I'm going to be successful because it's too hard. It's too difficult. It's one of the most difficult puzzles I had to solve, and then try to translate in a form that you can understand it. See, the Noah dimension. Now, I'm going to try to give it to you in a general way. Like I said, I'm not going to. It's not point me going into a lot of details every little, because course, every T dot I, because you'd be totally lost in 2 seconds. So we're going to talk about, see, there's 3 parts of it. See, one is those dates in there. Oh, Noah was 600 years, and the 7th month, the 17th day of the month, right? And you think that don't mean anything. No, those dates are very important. See? It took a while to kind of break that out, but they're very important because they're not actually dates. See? You have to do a calculation because they come in pairs. It's like, maybe I can give you an example, but it's like the one that says, he's 600 years old, and on 600 years year, and this the 7th month or the 2nd month, right, on the 17th day of the month. Okay, think about that. 600 years, 2nd month, 70th day of the month. Then next thing it says 600 years, 7th month. Remember I said 2nd month, now 7th month. Only difference is, and the 17th day of the month, say, wait a minute, only difference is the month. 600 years is the same, months is different, but they're the same. Because they're not talking about that, they're talking about the difference between the two, 5 months. 5 months difference between the two. And that corresponds to the 5-month locust plague and an angel. That's what it's talking about. Between those 2 dates, they come in pairs. All of them come in pairs like that. See? And then the 40 days and 40 nights, same thing with that. That has a certain, right? So if you read it carefully, it tells you what these things are. So you got to put them all that puzzle together just right. See? So, it says, yet 7 days, and then the flood. That means something happened before the flood. See? So, and you got to understand it. So, the flood is 7 days before, and then it tells you what happens during those 7 days. Right? Now, those 7 days are talking about those 2 birds. Right? The raven and the dove. Now, there's a big hint right there, because what color is the raven? What color is the dove? You think it's not important? It is important. So let's go see if we can try to figure out, see if we can some of these things here. So I'm not going to excruciating detail here, because for those of you familiar with Dendro, you might be appreciate this. See, the dove, that's that white part of that's Farrakhan. See, that's the position he's in. It's Farrakhan. That's the dove that goes, comes back, and eventually he doesn't come back at all. Right? But the raven, he stays. Right? The dove keeps going, come back, and the raven ends up staying. That's NOI. That's 2 birds he's talking about. See, let's look at this. So right now, this goes back to. Now I'm not going into detail here, because this goes back to before we was in Holocaust, before we was enslaved. So those wasn't demons and stuff. Then it was all gold. But I'm not going that kind of detail, because this occupies a lot of time doing that, and you still might not get the point. So I'm just telling you, the original nation up there, I have it as demons. That's the top part, the top 7, right? Elect, demon, elect, dove, raven, and master from Haman sinner. Well, in the angel, they say in the beginning it was all gold before they got corrupted. So I'm just telling you, it's all gold at this point in time, right? And master from Haman, he's not here yet. See, but he shows up. This is what he shows. This time when he shows up, right? And he gets Elijah. Elijah's told to teach the chaff as well as the wheat. Now, chaff is the Christian blacks, the demons, right? A demon is someone that's really a devil with black skin. His father's a devil. You know what your father is. That's an easy one, but they choose not to recognize that. Okay? So, that's Elijah. He's on the rock. He raised him up. That's where it starts. Start from that point, right? before it was enslaved. But again, Master Muhammad's not there yet. This is before we was enslaved. I'm not going to change these symbols, but since I thought about it, I said I'd go to do that, and it's a lot of work to do that, and it's not. I'm not sure it's pretty much counterproductive because most people don't understand anyway. So I'm just telling you, this will be all gold. Master Muhammad would not be there. It'd be all gold, right? All gold. Elijah wouldn't be there. It's be all gold. This before we was enslaved. That's what we're talking about. This before we was enslaved, and the sun would not be there yet, right? So I'm just talking through this. And you see why as we go into this, because it would take a lot of work to put this exactly like it should be, and you're still probably not going to get it. So I'm just explaining it to you. This elect demon, and elect dove, raven, they'll be all gold. That's the one you see in chapter 1 of the angel, Revelation. And Master Muhammad, he'd be all gold. He wouldn't be there yet. And the sun wouldn't be there yet either. Okay? All gold. That's the four. You had 4 creatures, and you had the 7 spirits of the God. Okay, let's move on. And then we were enslaved. See, so we scattered amongst the nations, so to speak. We were enslaved. Okay? Yes. I'm just trying to get you back where we are in time. Okay? So now, slavery, this is before, this is once we come over here, 5 years ago, but 5 years ago, we're enslaved, right? See, we're still all gold, right? But we're about to be corrupted through rape and everything else. But just focus on the main thing here, because I said, I want to get you into Noah. And then this is when Master Muhammad shows up and starts raising the nation. Elijah Muhammad starts teaching. Now we're corrupt. See, we move forward until 500 years to Master Muhammad show. So as we showed, before we was enslaved, and now Master Muhammad shows up. The sun's still not there yet, right? He shows up, he's teaching Elijah. And I'm not going to apologize for not showing this in detail, brothers, because it would take a lot of work to do that. And I don't think I'm not sure it was worth it at this point, because you're probably not going to get it anyway. But if you focus on what I'm telling you, you say it's not necessary, because I'm just trying to bring you up to date, right? So here it is, Master Muhammad shows up, he raised Elijah, right? The nation's corrupt, right? Half is demons, right? The dove, that's a demon, right? You got the gold, and you got, and he raised the inner eye. That's the raven there. Okay? Okay? Hope you understand. That's where, right? That's where we're talking about at the time that Master Muhammad shows up. Start raising the nation, right? Okay. Okay, so we just showed where we were, nations raised. I mean, he's not raising, he's in the process of raising Elijah Muhammad's teaching, right? Nations coming together, Elijah Muhammad's teaching, the chaff as well as the wheat. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about those 7, the doves, the 7 days, 7 nights. Okay, let's see what happens there. There's no easy way to do this, brothers. I looked at this and there's no easy way to do this. Well, I'm going to give you some information so you can start if you wish. Okay, so here it is. Right? So, Elijah is teaching. Right? See, we brought up the time that Master Muhammad shows up, Elijah's teaching. So I want to bring up to that point. He's teaching, right? The sun comes online. He's around then. Okay? then what happens? Elijah departs up to back to the Mount Farmer. See where Elijah goes? Watch where Elijah moves. He's back, and he leaves a dove or a Farrakhan sitting in the seat. Now, understand, brothers and sisters, I know you're not familiar with the angel and everything else, but it's not arbitrary. You say, well, I just move stuff like I want to. No. You have certain rules you have to follow moving the stuff around. So it's not time to say, well, I just move it. No. See? Because there's specific places that these things go. So now Farrakhan, that's the dove, he's sitting in Elijah's seat. Now remember, see this dove, what happens to this dove? Dove goes out, right, and comes back. See? Then he goes out again and he comes back. Then he goes out again and doesn't. So that first part is where he goes out. Let's go back here. See, that puts it in perspective here. So some of the dove now. This way it goes out. First time. As I debate even do this, brothers and sisters, because this is very complicated here. It's hard to structure it. But see, this is where before we was enslaved, right? They're talking about those doves. So before we was enslaved, right? So dove goes out. So he's up there, right? But he goes out. Let me make sure I have this right. Because I went over this. I said, what's the easy way to do this? So, okay. Yeah. Okay. So he goes out. First time he goes out. First time dove goes out, right? And then he comes back. Then he comes back. He comes back. Okay. That's one. Okay. Then when the raven, and now, right, he's getting ready to go out again. This is the falling away. This is the falling away. Second time he goes out, right? It's falling away, but he comes back. Comes back again. Comes back again. And that time Raven, he's still there. See, Raven's black, and that's why I use those terms. That's a little big hint right there. So he's went out, come back, come back 2 times. We have the 3rd time. See. Now what happens here is, see, now what happens here? Okay. He goes out again the last time. He doesn't come back. Hey. He doesn't come back. Because he's cast out. That's the demon separation. We cast him out. That's what that is, brothers and sisters. That's speaking to the dove. That's part of the puzzle. dove going in, out, and back, forth, back, forth. Then finally doesn't come back because he's cast out. That's the demon wars. 5-month war. Let's see if I could remember how I got all this together because it's complicated. Okay. Then it talks about we talk about the day, 7 days, right? Okay, now here we see this takes place during the 40 days. And now you got this 40-day thing. Right? Now you got to see what happens during the 40 days. Right? That's when the flood happens. Flood starts and it lasts for 40 days. Right? But what's in that 40 days? Okay. Look here, you have 600 years Noah, second month, 17th day. Then under that you have 600 year, 7th month, 17th day. That's 5 months. So it says, once the flood starts, that's 5 months. Okay? But remember the demon was 5 months too. That's 10 months altogether so far. This whole thing would add to 1 year. Remember? Babylon would be destroyed 1 year. So we got 5 months plus 5 months so far. 5 months because it's 5 months difference between second month and 7th month. That's what it's talking about. And during that time, that's when the fountains, so what does that mean? The fountains broke and the window opened. Then the rain. 4 days, 4 nights. That rain is important. Here we go. Rain on the earth, right? There's the rain on the earth. There's the fountains. So those fountains break. That's when the flood starts. Right, and we backed up a little bit because this is where the demons get separated. But I'm showing that part of it. Because I integrate the whole thing because it would be too complicated if I show the whole thing integrated as we went along. So I'm just showing different aspects. That's the time, the 7 day and 7 night, the 40, the 150 days, right? All that kind of. I'm just in just those portions. So here, this is the portion of timing, right? Between Noah being 600 and the 7th month and the 2017 day, that kind of stuff. So here we are right here. So it said the fountains will break, and see the fountains are this here. They're holding back the waters. They're holding back the waters, and then they broke. That's when the when that happens, that's also when the demons go down. That's also the 5 months. Remember, I said 5. That's 5 months. That's 5 month thing too. They connect up because 5 month the 5 month demon war. But here it is. See, it connects back up to the angel key. It connects the whole story kind of angel key because the demons it'd be 5 months. That's the locust, right? And here it is. Remember, that's 5 month period. That's when fountains break. Then you got that 5 month period there between those two. So that's fountains break. It means the ship moved up because they was the ones holding back the seas. So now, right? And when they do, that's when demons are loose. And the flood starts after 5 months. Because you have a demon war, not rioting like some people saying rioting and stuff. Maybe some of that might be, but they're at war. They're really war. There's a civil war going in this country, if you want to call it that. See, here's another one. Let's go back here for a minute. Now, I want you to notice something back here previous. Now, notice 6 year, second month, 7th day of the month, to 6 year, 7th month, 17th day of the month. That's exactly 5 months in between the two. Okay? I know you never noticed that. I said I notice things and I do. Well, so now we're talking about 6 year, 17 month. What's going on here? What's going on here? This stuff here. What is this? In my computer again. What is this? What is this madness? Balance system, I got a little technical thing here. On balance system, I'm gonna have to. Okay, let's go know what's going on here. Balance systems. Oh man. Well, I just keep coming up. Whew. I'm telling you, boss, there are all kinds of ways to interrupt my presentations. I know what this is all about. Let's see where I'm at here. Pardon me, bosses. I think that's where I'm at right here. Yeah. Looks about right. Okay, I think I'm back in the saddle again, as they say. Anything that would prevent this information getting out. The number says 600 year, second day, 17 month, and 600 year, 7th month, 70 day. It's 5 months difference. And this is doing the demon. I showed that, so let's remember that. 600 year, second month, 17 day, 7 years, 7 months, 17 day. Okay. So this is where the fountains, right? You got to go read the Noah story, get all the details. Right? To support what I'm just saying. Okay, now that was holding back the flood. She was holding back the flood. They removed. You see, now I have 600. Right? That's the bomb. 7, because first was second month, the 7th month is 7 day. But then it's the word decrease, 600 year, 10th month was the first day of the month. So it's a time difference between there, right? Which is approximately 4 months. So we got to add all this together. Because this is between, in other words, you got these two groups. You got 600 year, 7th month, 70 day. You had 600 years, 7 months, second day. So that's 5 months between. But remember, this is later in time, 7th. But then you go to the next one where you say 600 years, 10th month, and first day. That's another grouping. Because you're going to see under that, you're going to say 601 years, 10th, 1 month, and first day. So that goes together. But we know how much time is in between those two, right? And so you have 7th month, right? seventh month, and so seventh month. I mean, from to be the 10th, the next one will be the first month. So 10 to the first, well, that's 3 months or 4 months. I put 4 months there for right now, right? So then we got 5 and 4 months. That's 9 months altogether. We need 3 months more to make it a year. Okay, so keep this in mind. This is 600 10th month, first day of the month. And this is different from 17th day, because 17th matches up to the one before that. But this is a different date. This matches up with one that I'm going to show you in a minute. That matches up to this one. See, so we're still in that 5 month period, because 550 days is 5 months. See, we're still in that 5 month period. See, because that 5 month period, remember, that right after that starts the flood. Okay. So here we are here, right? That's the flood. See? So this flood lasts how long? This lasts three months. Right? I think 4 months there. How long the flood lasts? Right? But that's after the 5 months of the locust plague. So they talk about, let me see if I can, let me, that's the flood. See, it's a flood. Earth is gone. It's gone. Okay? Now remember I said earlier, so keep in mind that's 6 year, 10th month and first day. Right? See, this is during that 5 month period, right? Okay. Oh boy, okay. Okay. I keep getting these messages, bro. It says, excuse me. Okay. That's the flood. Okay. Earth is gone. And then that's when, remember I said, how you connect these together? Here's the 601st year. First of the month, first day. First day, that's the connection. First day, other one. Right? So that's a 4 month difference there. See? So we're still with a 150 day period, right? That's 4 months difference there. So all together, if you got the 5 months, you got the 4 months. I'm gonna have a difficult time trying to explain this to you, bosses, but hold on. Anyway, that's when the waters dried up after that period. So you add those up, get 5, get 4, it's 9, and 3. So the waters dried up. So Europeans are going, Europe is going, waters dried up. Okay, back up previous. Okay, that's my best I can do with this, brothers and sisters, for you. I don't think I can make it any simpler. Let me back up here, see if anything I can make it any simpler here. Remember the raven, he's still there. He's in the waters. But the dove, he's gone. See. previous. Let's see what we can do here. I'm just going back and see if I can see if I can clear up anything. It's a very difficult presentation to give. Words decreasing. Pretty much what I just given you something to work with, to study on your own. This is one of those puzzles I don't really talk about because it's too difficult to present. There's a lot of puzzles like that. I try to give you the ones that's easy to present. See? So I show you the pattern so you can lock in on something. Let's see. Where's 150? Oh, that's what I wanted to do. And I remember now. That's where you have 150 there. That's the 4 months, 9 months, and this is doing that. It's talking about 150 days. And in 150 days, right? So the flood will be going on during 150 days. So you got 250 days. You got 150 days of, that's why I kind of erred, I think, there. You got 150 days of the demon. You got 150 days of the flood. That's 150 days here, that's 150. You got 5 months of the demon war, and you got 5 months of the flood. See, because the flood was on earth for 150 days. Okay. And then 150 days, so that's why I had that there. I misspoke on that one. Let's see if we can make sense of it. And I put 4 months. It depends on how you calculate this. Some people say it's only 3 months. I just put 4 months there. See, I'm not trying to be very precise here, brothers and sisters, because there's a lot more to this than I'm just telling you, but it's just too complicated. See? Because some of these days overlap. They're not contiguous. Some overlap. But it comes out to 1 year. Because you got five months, but you see it's 4 month period here, right? And which I'm saying, that's between the time they talk about let's see, how should I say that? Let me just back up, maybe I can show you better. Like I said, but I've been very reluctant to even give this presentation, because I'm not sure if I'm just wasting my time here. Yeah, see this? Okay. What I'm doing here is, and I'm going to close up, brothers and sisters. What I'm doing here is, I know I probably lost everybody here, but those who are willing to study is there for you. What I'm showing here is, remember I said these two, this is a pair, and you know by 17th day of the month. The other pair goes to about the first day of the month. They're a pair. But how much time is between this pair and the other pair? That's how it's calculated. That comes out to 3 or 4 months, depending on how you calculate it. See? So, this is the 5 months here. Found broke. This 5 months here relates to the flood itself. See, so the flood of burning waters, the flood will be 40 days and 40 nights. So it starts at 40 days, ends at 40 nights. So this encompasses this. This encompasses this. See? I don't know if you can see my curse here or not. This encompasses, it says the flood will flood be on earth 40 days, 40 nights. It starts at 40 days, ends at 40 nights, right? So, and that encompasses this, and this here is 5 months. So you had the 5 months of what I showed you earlier, 5 months of the demon plague, right? You have 5 months of the flood, right? That's 10 months right there. So you got to miss it 2 months somewhere. So remember, that 17th day of the month, because we go to the next one. This one demons, right? So that went back. They're out the way. See, that's when the flood started. Because the fountain was taken out the way. That started the flood. That started at 5 months. The demons was 45. See, there's the first day of the month. And what's the time between us? At 4 months. See? But so the ark rusted and the waters decreased. But see, that's the problem here, because it's overlap there. It's overlap there. Between that two, right? It's an overlap. So that's how that's where you get the rest of the months from. Because you got, okay, if rested there, that's the end, right? And that's the beginning where the wars decreased. Right? Okay. But the war is decreasing, that means, right, it's already flooded. So it's overlap there. Because the war decreasing means the war is already there. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So it's a little overlap there. So I'm just going to say that much. And so, if you understand overlap, it actually comes out of 12 months altogether. So 2 month overlap. See? So the flood actually lasts 450 days. Remember, this still 17th. And then you go down to, that's the flood. Says that lasts, say, 150 days until, because if you go from this, okay, hold on here, let's show you. If you go from here, you only get, remember, this is the 17th day of the month, go to the first day of the month. Now it's another set. Remember, the first two set, the 17th. Now this was the 600 year, 10th, first day of the month. So that compares the next first day of the month, which is here, right? And that could be was dried up, right? But that's within the part, when the 50, this 5 months is the flood. This is part of the flood, that's why it's overlap. The 600 to 601, right? That's part of the flood. Hold on, let me back up here. See if I can show you that, and then we'll go. So I gotta tell you these things, boys. I mean, it's for you to know, but I don't know how to tell you. Some stuff is very. Some stuff I haven't told you at all because it's so complicated. Try to explain it. Okay. Remember, 600 year, 10th month, first day of the month, where it's decreased. That means the flood is still going on, so it's overlap there. See, and from there to the other one. Well, it's 4 months, but part of that's within the flood, with 150 days. Because the word decrease, that means it's decreasing, but it's still flooding. You understand? So it's a word decrease right there, that means it's still part of the flood thing. So, and we said that would be 3 to 4 months, depending on how you calculate it, right? But part of that is in the flood, so it's not a 3 month or 4 month gap between too. It's less than that because part of it is part of the flood too, because war decreased at that point, right? Until the 6 year, 10th month, first day of the month to 601st year, and it's first month, right? The first day of the month, right? That's it, right? Yeah. You understand? So it's an overlap there. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. I think I complicated this enough. But I guess the bottom line here is that go ask Mr. Farrakhan, the anointed one, the all-seeing, whatever. Ask him how to explain Noah. Those numbers, what they mean. How Noah was 600 years old, and right? Because I already explained the one about Methuselah and everything that goes up to Noah. And it tells us that Farrakhan is Methuselah. He dies the same day that Noah goes to the ark. And that means when a war happens, right? When a war happens and resurrection comes, that's when, because he's part of the demon, that's when he dies, because that's when the demons die. Because he don't go to war, he's getting those silly sisters. He got out here preparing for war. Why are you preparing for war? Because demons, they think they're going to take this country. And that's what they're trying to convince you. They're going to try to convince us too, to stay and help fight, take this country. We don't want it. And if we did, you think this country run by Islam? It's run by the demons. And Farrakhan is a demon itself. He's ripping off of it. He's taking advantage. He's ripping off this nation, like it says in Malachi. So when God when a man robbed God, that's why he's cursed with a curse. He's cursed with disembowelment. See? That's what's going on there, brothers and sisters. So it's something for you to study if you wish to study it. Something you study if you wish to study it. It's up to you. But you got some background there. See? So you never seen anything like this I was told you before? But if you study, you see it's totally accurate. Because if you just read it, you think, whoa, man, that happened in the past. Okay, why they tell you Noah was 600 years old and the second month, the first month? What do you care about that? Why is that important? And why is they in sync like that? Why are they connected like that? See? And those dates all match up. Like I said, come in pairs. Come in pairs. So we understand, brothers and sisters. So I probably thoroughly confused you, but I don't want to be said I didn't, because you don't understand now, but you once the resurrection takes place, then you understand. You look back and say you understand it clearly. I don't understand now, but you know that it was revealed that someone did break those seals and explain it. And like I said, brothers and sisters, like I could tell you, but they fall in the same category as this. It's so complicated. How can I explain it easily? It's not. This is very difficult to explain, and I'm pretty sure that I didn't do a good job because I don't know how else to do it. It's very complicated. And you have to know the angel key to even begin to understand it, and even if you understand the angel key, probably still don't know it. Then you have to have some history of nature Islam and our history. So this covers basically, in short, this covers from the time this Noah, because if you read the whole Noah story, right, it was all kinds of trouble, and there was a demon thing, because remember it said sons of God, and when they talk about sons of God in the Bible, really, you're talking about demons, devils, because it said the sons of God came to see and you think they're talking about the original people, no, because it says, and Satan was amongst them. See? So that's part of the code too. So it says they went to men, they went to the females. The women of men, the daughters of men. Again, to my Adam. Now, excuse me. They went to the daughters of men. I'm saying right. The sons of God, right? They went into our women and produced these giants. They don't mean giants and physical giants. Giants in power, because they have the same power as their dads Adam has, because he was ruled during that 6,000 period. They're the same nature as him. They're the same power. That's why you see demons. Half our nation, half of this black nation is demons, right? And that's why it's so successful. Because it says what the Quran tells you, it makes it clear. It says those who Those who love this world's life, Allah hasted to them. There's no portion hereafter. So all those people you see, you think they're successful black skin, they're not going to have a portion hereafter. Why is that? Why? Well, if they're your brothers and sisters, they're not going to hereafter. The Quran tell you. You claim you believe the Quran. The Quran says they're not going hereafter. They ain't going. Farrakhan included. He's getting rich. He got filthy rich off of y'all. Where you get that money from? He didn't get it from the lotto. Because they are successful in this reality because they're part of this reality. So if you have this world, the world will love you. That means you'll be successful at it. But if you're not, they will hate you. So if you're successful in this world life, you have no portion you have to. The Quran tells you that. It means they're demons. You see? So all this stuff is very simple, brothers and sisters, right? And so I'm trying to explain, like some of these stuff is very complicated. And so I'm not going to tell you because it's just too complicated to explain. But I gave some information, background, you can go look at it. I showed you some patterns that you can look at and make sense of it yourself. Because these patterns I showed you were helpful. If you studied, it'd be very helpful to you because you didn't realize they were there. But like I said, this is talking about from the period of time before we was enslaved, all the way up to what? The time of the flood. See, which is about to happen. See, after because she is holding it back. The ones they want to attack, they don't hold back the flood. And then once we're taken out of here, back home, because they're not coming over here, that's when the flood comes. And it takes out America and Britain first, but it takes out all the European countries. Everybody on the earth, because the earth represents European countries. And we're in the ark. But the raven, right, it wasn't in the ark, right, but it was saved because it came back. But the dove didn't. It kept going, coming. That's Farrakhan. That's what, I don't know. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I don't think you will, but you got something to study. See, and you find it's accurate. It's not as detailed as I would like to have it, but then I get you loose even more. Because this gets very detailed, but I got as much detail as I could to get you to have some idea of what they're talking about Noah. So it's talking about history up to the time prior to our enslavement, up to our enslavement, persecution, the Holocaust, up to our deliverance, getting rid of the demons, things I've been telling you about. It backs the whole story up. The same thing I've been telling you about for years, this is backing it up. To get rid of the demons, the flood, the fog, that means China, India come in and flood and knock out America and the ram, right, and European countries. All the way up to that point. That's what the story of Noah is telling you. And on an open reading of Noah, still, even without the angel key, just a plain open reading on the sealed paper, you get that kind of flow if you're willing to accept the truth, accept who the devils are. Then you kind of see it in the shadows, right? You won't see this kind of detail though about like the dove and the raven. Why is one black and one white like that? So you won't see kind of detail, but you get the general picture. But if you think this flood happened a long time ago and all that kind of stuff, you better do some calculations, bro. So you better go do some mathematics. It's impossible. And one last thing about that, even if that was true, right? Now he put two of every animal. You know how many species of animals are on the planet? Billions. Billions of species of animals on the planet, right? That could not survive a flood. So you have to get two of each one of those. How long will it take them to do it? Then you got to go to Australia to get the kangaroos. They come over to America to get the turkeys, because they're still here. See, go to South America to the llamas. You got to go all over the place. How long is it going to take to do it? 1,000,000 years? Then you got to put them all in that little bitty ark. And by the time you get 10 years in, what happened to the ones he put there first? Are they still alive? They still sitting right in that spot, waiting for the rest of them to come in? Come on, it makes sense. Come on, tell me. It took 20 years to do it. So he's traveling all over the planet. How is he getting all over the planet? He got a spaceship or something? How is he getting all over the planet? How is he getting to Australia? How is he getting to America? Oh, the world is not America, right? How is he getting over here? How is he all over the planet? To get all these animals and put them in an ark. Ark would have to be bigger than the state of New Jersey. And then you got to have all food. You got to feed them all. and all that kind of stuff. How in the hell is that possible? In 1,000 years, in 10,000, 100,000 years, how is that possible? And then to keep the ones alive that's still there, I mean, they're not reproducing? Come on. That never happened. And nothing like that will ever happen. That's not what I was talking about. So I gave you some stuff to work with, both. Says up to you. Hope you understand. I'm going to leave it there. Assalamu alaikum.